As we begin to watch Andy swim, we're going to look at his head position straight away. And I know I'm circling here when he's breathing, but if you look at the resistance that's caused by him turning his head to the side, he's actually lifting his head, and that's causing his legs to sink. I've also there just positioned his arm and sort of shown where the elbow is. But you can see now that there's no resistance at all around his head. That's actually because his head's clean out the water. He's actually lifted it so high that it's actually out of the water and there's no ripples around that at all. And he's got what's called a classical windmill stroke, and you can see that because one arm is doing exactly the opposite of what the other arm is doing. And what we're looking for is a front quadrant stroke, and making sure that the stroke is a flowing stroke with the lead arm held out in front of him and his other arm coming over the top and trying to catch the other arm up, almost like an almost catch up, if you like. And he's constantly breathing to every two. He's breathing in an explosive fashion as well. And what that means is he's blowing bubbles. He's not blowing bubbles underneath the water. The downside of all this is Andy's body position. He needs to push his head down just a little bit, and that'll help lift his legs up. But what will also help lift his legs up is pointing his toes like a ballerina. At the moment, his toes are pointing just ever so slightly down towards the bottom of the pool. Now here we can clearly see Andy's explosive breathing. He blows out and you can clearly see the bubbles as he's swimming along. To rectify that, we need to work on a drill bubble bubble breathe. We need to work on blowing bubbles out consistently underneath the water, a steady stream of bubbles. And that will just help him be much more relaxed in the water, much more flowing in the water, much more even in the water. Breathing every three will certainly help balance the stroke out a bit. As we look at his arm action here, his recovery phase is fine. And actually his hand entry phase isn't too bad in terms of the fingers pointing down towards the bottom of the pool. However, if we watch him coming towards us, you can see that his left hand, which is the hand near it on the right as we look at it, is going into the water and it's actually coming across that axis. And as it goes across the axis, it needs to pull, and he's pulling underneath the body. And whilst that might be what we were taught to do years and years ago, we need to rectify that. We need to pull down the side of the body to use our hips to drive the stroke rather than trying to get our hand in. So you can see here that his hand's going underneath his body. It's only just on the other side of that centre line. His right hand isn't bad at all. It's going in front of the shoulder and it extends in front of the shoulder as well. And you can see that from here. So both hands extend. Not too bad, but we need to continue to work on it.